This is Rugby Roundup. Coming up, we preview the Crunch Championship playoff game between Moseley and Bees, and Worcester's Johnny R looks ahead to the game against London Welsh. Hello and welcome to Rugby Roundup. I'm Paul Bradley, in for Christina Savas, and I'm joined as usual by Brian Dick. Hi Brian.
Hi Paul.
Well, it's a big game this weekend, Moseley versus Bees in the Championship playoffs. Both teams had disappointing results last weekend. How are Moseley going to be looking to win this game?
Well, they're the home side, and they absolutely have to win the game. Everyone's been saying that you win your home matches and you're probably home and dry. Now, Moseley need to do this. It was a disappointing performance and result in Plymouth. What was most disappointing was they didn't seem to carry the ball up with any conviction. They didn't get over the gain line. Notable exception being Bevan Armitage, and a couple of guys followed him later in the game. But they have got to be much more physical when they have the ball, and more physical when they haven't got it as well. But they need to disarm that Bees defence.
And there's some controversial selection decisions by Ian Smith for that game. Are we expecting to see something similar again?
Who knows? I was extremely surprised when I got down there and saw that Andy Borgum was starting at 10. Andy is a good player, but he's only started one championship match there all season. Okay, he's played the last few British and Irish Cup games there, but that was a shock for me to see that. And the wings were. Ed Stiles hadn't been with him for 3 weeks, and he was starting in an important game. The frustrating thing about that was it created an unbalanced side. The link between the forwards and the backs wasn't there. They were slightly lopsided out wide with Ollie Thomas playing on the wing, and he's actually more of a midfield player. So they didn't give themselves the best opportunity to win. That was what was most frustrating for me.
Okay, well, you mentioned Ollie Thomas there, and we caught up with him, and this was his thoughts on the upcoming game against Bees.
Obviously, it's a very important game. You can't really understate that. Whether it will determine who goes up and who goes down, I don't think it will come down to this weekend. Obviously, it will play a large part. I know it's a bit of a sporting cliche, but we're trying to focus on each Saturday, each Friday night as it comes. So we'll obviously be targeting this game to win. And the importance of it has been sort of highlighted to the whole squad. So we all know what's coming up this Saturday.
Well, that was Ollie Thomas. Now, moving on to the game from a Bees perspective, how will they be looking to play? Is it going to be the free-flowing stuff we've seen before from them?
Well, they do tend to play quite wide against Moseley. I mean, Simon Hunt's record against them he rolls along at 20 points a game in his last 4 games against Moseley. Now, a lot of that is because he was doing the place-kicking duties, but the last time the sides met and he was playing, he scored 3 tries. So they will look to use Simon quite a lot, but. A characteristic of the performance against Ish for me was it was almost Moseley-like in a way. They were very stodgy. They didn't get the ball wide. Ish were the ones with the vim and the vigour and showing the enterprise. And for Bees again, maybe I've been suckered in with all the pre-match positivity around Bees, but that was the disappointing element for me.
If we take a look at the table as well, even at this early stage, the game is already shaping up to be hugely crucial. Can you put it into perspective for us, what this means already?
Well, it is hugely crucial in one respect, in the way that the top 2 appear to have slipped away already. However, depending on one of Esher and Plymouth will lose this weekend, and one of Bees and Moseley will win this weekend. So the 2 at the top, one of the 2 at the top, and one of the 2 at the bottom will be barely maybe a point away at this stage. So. It is crucial, but it's only round 2. There are still 20 points to play for in the resulting 4 games. Ask me that question in round 5 when these 2 sides meet again at Damson Park. That could be a relegation decider. It could be loser goes down that day. But at the moment, neither side wants to lose. But it's not all said and done. It's not cut and dried at this weekend.
Okay, well, we caught up with Russell Earnshaw as well, and here were some of his thoughts after last week's game.
There's some mistakes, didn't we? Kick straight out, quick line out. I thought at that stage we probably had the momentum, and then we went. A couple of missed tackles first half, me and Dennis, led to a try, and then just then started chasing the game a little bit, and errors started to creep in. I thought when we played a controlled game, Scum was dominant. I like our drive was dominant. I think we may have seen a yellow card a bit earlier, but don't hold the yellow cards, unfortunately. No, we just got to get better. We should play well, they good side, and we just didn't. We just made critical errors and we got punished for.
Well, that was Russell Earnshaw. Now, Brian, looking ahead to Worcester's upcoming game, London Welsh, are they going to be kind of trying to keep their run going after their convincing win last weekend?
Yeah, I mean they negotiated what was a banana skin last weekend. Bristol, yes, they've only just scraped into the promotion playoffs, but it was going to be very difficult, and they did very well. It was quite a tinderbox atmosphere. They got dragged into a bit of niggle. But they've done well, and they're going to be playing London Welsh, and they'll be big favourites to beat London Welsh this weekend. Okay,
well, we caught up with Worcester's Johnny R, and here's some of his thoughts ahead of the London Welsh game.
I think having watched them play Nottingham in their first game, they ran out quite convincing winners in the end, so they'll have their tails up, and even when they came to Six Ways a couple of weeks ago. We played really well first half and put 4 tries past them or so within 40 minutes, but they showed how dangerous they are, and the second half come back and scored 4 tries of their own, I think. So it's going to be another tough game. They've got a lot of dangerous players, the likes of Josh Ranieri and Tonga Weir, and they've got a lot of dangerous players. So we're just going to have to be even more alert than we were on against Bristol.
Well, that was Johnny R. Now just having a brief look at the table. I know it's early days, but this could be a significant result if they do get a victory over London Welsh.
Yeah, they could. They could open up a bit of clear blue water. We expect them to qualify anyway, but Welsh might reappear in the knockout stages in the final maybe. And if they go into that final knowing they've beaten Welsh home and away twice, as they should well do, then while no one's going to hand them the trophy, that you'd have to say they'd be well on their way.
Okay, Brian, well, thanks for that today. And thank you for watching. We'll be back again next week with more Rugby Roundup.